Spendthrift has, a year after winning the Derby, you've got Keepmeinmind, who now needs one more defection to get in there. Talk about how you all acquired part interest in him and just
Well,
your
he's
thoughts on his season so far.
I mean, he's just we're always looking for horses that are going to have some we think will have some stud value and have some ability and you know, you're always looking at the Derby horses. There's so much good things built in buying a Derby contender. You go to stud with an awful lot of built-in marketing. But Keepmeinmind was he's a talented horse. You know, he's a son of Laban, who's an up and coming horse. And so we were really excited to be able to get a piece of him, actually buy an actual ownership interest in him, and we'll stay in him hopefully eventually at Spendthrift. But so really excited to have a piece of him. He was so impressive in both the Breeders' Cup Juvenile and then here at Churchill and the aftermath of that race. That he was a horse that we thought looked like he really would have a good future. So he hadn't really quite put it together this year. He's actually worked really well since his last race, and really we've got a decision to make if he does get in, would we go or not. He really hasn't quite earned his way with some of his starts this spring, but we know there's an awful lot of ability there. So
What would be plan B if you decide not to go in the Derby?
we it's something we need to discuss. Obviously it's always great to have a Derby horse, but you don't want to go just for the sake of going. But again, the horse is working very well. So it's just something we would discuss with our partners and with the trainer and go from there.
Would the Pet Day Mile on the Derby card be possible, or you want to keep him 2 turns?
It's a possibility, but he's certainly shown he can go 2 turns, so I don't think there's any real need to cut back. And maybe it's regroup and look at the Preakness, but we'll see. A lot of options.
Now you all, of course, stand Into Mischief, the international sensation. 3 horses that are in the Derby right now by him, and just sort of talk about how when it's your stallion, the rooting interest that you have in those horses as well.
Well, I remember years ago when Into Mischief's first crop was getting rolling, and I was watching Golden Sense and Vijack win stakes races about 45 minutes apart, and I'll never forget Mr. Hughes commenting how much he enjoyed that because he got to root for a horse and maybe benefit from them winning, but he didn't have to pay bills on them. And so, that's one of the fun things. Obviously, when you've got a stallion, you're always watching their offspring and watching and rooting for them and hoping for their success, and means good things for the farm when that stuff happens. So for him to, follow up with Authentic with 3 really nice shots at the Derby this year is really a great thing. We watched Mandaloun work this morning, and he looked fantastic. Soup and Sandwich has worked really, really well. I know Mark feels really good about how that horse is coming into the race, and Chad, I know, feels good about Highly Motivated. So we got 3 good shots for Into Mischief, and whether the win, lose, or draw, those are really, really nice horses, and it's just nice to see Into Mischief is keeping it rolling.
Well, one thing you got wrong is you said Mr. Hughes didn't have any bills to pay. You all get a lot of swag to support your stallions. I remember all the Golden Sense ball caps and jackets.
That's
Lenny
true.
had 2
That's
horses
true.
in the Derby a couple of years ago, so that's
that stuff sort of pales in comparison to day rates, but
or $50,000 to put up
There you
to
go.
run a horse in the Derby. But what does the Derby do though? Having for the promotion, like I said, you all are very big on promotions.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you really can't pay for all the great publicity that a horse gets just from being in the Derby, running in preps, and all the media attention that's focused on the Derby. Let's face it, next week there won't be a lot of press standing around here watching for horses. I always say these are the most well-attended baths that you'll ever see a horse get in their life. So there's just so much built-in media, and it's so much easier when you go to stud when people are familiar with a horse. There's name recognition. It's a big deal, and makes our job on the farm that much easier in terms of selling seasons.
Having won the Derby last year, are you spoiled? I mean,
I think that we've all been doing this long enough, and we've certainly had our share of really good fortune at Spendthrift, but we've had some of the tough breaks as well. So I think we've all been doing this long enough now, and had the ups and downs, that I don't think we'll probably ever get spoiled. That was a great feeling. We really appreciate how tough that is to accomplish. It requires a really good horse, and then it requires a lot of luck, and a lot of things need to go your way. So definitely, I think we're not spoiled. We'll very much appreciate if we can ever get another one.
And you didn't own him, but you stand him Omaha Beach, and then he's the big favorite, and then right out the
right.
Like
I mean,
that was
a tough one to swallow. And fortunately, Omaha Beach rebounded and had a great year, and has been wildly popular at stud. He bred a big crop of mares his first year and his second year as well. So, that's a horse that, even though he didn't run, benefited from all of that attention. But he's also a pretty darn nice horse. So, he's been very popular, and that's been a great thing for us.
So, final question. You said, you're not spoiled by it. You appreciate, how hard it is. The people that have won the Derby will say that you can't imagine what it feels like. You think you can imagine, but you can't, and it makes you just want to win it that much more. Now, what you go about it might be, whether you're judicious or throwing a lot of stuff at the wall. But
there's no question. I think having stood there in the winner's circle, it gives you an incredible appreciation for the feeling and for that accomplishment and what it means. At the same time, I think if you talk to anybody, whether they want it or not, that's the one race that everybody wants to win. That's the one race that all the people that aren't in the horse business ask you if you've ever won. That's the race that we're all shooting for, whether we've won it or not. So it was certainly a great experience. Crowd or no crowd, it was a great experience last year. Yes, we'd absolutely love to do it again sometime soon, sooner rather than later.